Hi, thanks for joining. Today we're going to talk about being your own boss, but not knowing, or rather wanting to be your own boss, but not knowing the what, as I like to call it, what you want to do. So I'm going to give you some tips and strategies that will help get you from the idea phase all the way through to developing a side hustle and then finally launching your own business. I was in your shoes for many, many years, not knowing what I wanted to do, the what, as I like to call it. And I have recommendations that I think are going to help you. So the first thing I would say is you really need to do some serious soul searching. Look deep inside of yourself and ask yourself some questions around, what's the intersection of what you enjoy and what you are good at? That's really the key. I would also suggest that you consider, getting in touch with your passions, because if you've been in the corporate world for a while, you may be experiencing a lack of connection to the things that you used to feel joy and passion around. So you want to connect yourself to those things again. And really think about, in one of my previous blogs, Preparing to Be Your Own Boss, I talk about knowing yourself, how important that is. And I would recommend that you think of the mind as kind of like a lake. So if you imagine a very turbulent lake that's very choppy, you're not going to see anything and you're not going to be able to focus on anything when you're looking at it. But when you see a lake that's still and calm, then it's clear and you can see your reflection in it. You've seen those photographs with the trees surrounding the lake and everything looks very clear. Well, that's what the mind is like. When you find stillness, you find clarity. So I challenge you to find some stillness in your life this week, whether it's going in nature, reading a book, going to yoga class. Do something that brings you that stillness so that you can find some clarity. And I also recommend that you ask yourself some questions around, what are your values, for example? A lot of us think that we know what our values are, but do you really sit down and make a list of your values, prioritize them, and compare them against your current career and see if they're aligned? Because if your number one value is to spend time with family, but your current job only lets you do that 1% of the time, then you're just not going to be happy. And there are jobs, there are careers and businesses out there that you can start that will allow you that flexibility, as an example. Also think about, obviously, what are you passionate about? What do other people compliment you on? You might not even be aware of some of the gifts that you have. One of my favorite questions is, what things do you do that cause you to just lose all track of time? Like, for me, it's writing. I love to write my blogs and I can just write for hours. So think about that. But the most important question, though, the one that really was impactful for me in terms of finding my passion and the things that I really enjoy is, and I challenge you to think about this week. I want you to find some quiet time somewhere, get a notepad, and think about if you had the time and the money and you knew you couldn't fail, what would you be doing? And just really sit down and think about it. A lot of people dismiss this question because they feel it's unrealistic, but this is one of the questions that really changed the way that I was thinking and opened my mind to the possibilities. So I want to challenge you to do that this week and let me know in the comments or email me and let me know if that resonated with you or if it brought you some ideas that maybe brought you some, thoughts that you could move forward with in terms of a new business. The next thing I would do after this really, soul searching phase is, and with my clients, I have to say this takes sometimes months to really get in touch with that authentic self, is to take that self-knowledge and turn it into a business idea. So start thinking about what sort of things you could turn this into a business. I was thinking for myself, I enjoy listening. I'm good with people that, they feel like they can trust me. And I enjoyed mentoring and helping people grow personally and professionally. So think about things like that. And also, you could think about pain points in your life that maybe you could solve that would help other people as well, or gaps in the marketplace. Aaron Patzer, the founder of Mint.com, he actually came up with his idea and his solution because he was struggling with, using managing his finances just using Microsoft Money and Quicken. So he developed his own solution. And then he ended up selling the company to Intuit for hundreds of millions of dollars. So, you could do something like that as well. The next thing I would say is to research, test your idea, and then develop a side hustle. So do some research online, do some networking, talk to people in that field to see if it really is all that you imagine it to be. And, when I was researching coaching, I started talking to coaches. I hired a coach. I now work with two. And that's where I had my breakthrough. So start reaching out to people and be curious. I encourage you to also, talk to your friends and family and see if it's a product or service that they'd be interested in. Do some research that way. And see if there's some education or certification requirements that you might need that you could maybe complete evenings and weekends. So, for example, real estate or even coaching, the programs that I was looking at allowed me to complete my requirements during times where I wasn't working, which made it really nice because it gave me a leg up before I actually left my other position to start a full-time coaching business. So look for those opportunities and then develop a side hustle. There's a great website called sidehustlenation.com. And I'm going to have a link to one of their articles in my blog this week on corporateescapeartist.com. It offers 99 side hustle ideas to kind of get your creative juices flowing. So look for that. But I recommend that you maybe go there and take a look at what they have to offer. I think developing a side hustle gives you a great opportunity to just kind of dip your toe in the entrepreneurial pool to see if you feel comfortable with your idea and how successful you can be. A lot of businesses start that way as a side business, and then it grows to such an extent that it almost causes you to have to leave your current position. Then the next phase is really planning. You need to put a specific plan together with timelines and dates and make yourself accountable. Let it hold you accountable, because a side hustle without a plan is like an expensive hobby. You're not going anywhere. So you want to decide, okay, I want to leave my full-time position, my current position, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, 12 months, whatever it may be. Plan it out. And of course, one of the most important things is look at your finances. How much runway are you going to need before you start that new business to set aside so that you have enough to get your business off the ground? Maybe meet with an accountant or a financial advisor. Also think about what sort of company structure you're going to need. Is it an S Corp? Is it an LLC? And the Small Business Administration has some great resources. There's also a website called SCORE, which has mentors that can help you and offer you free help and advice that I know a lot of people have had success with. So those are some resources. And then think about, location. Are you going to be working from home? Are you going to need an office? Those are all considerations as you're planning your corporate escape, as it were, from your current career to your business. So I encourage you to then, hold yourself accountable, stick to your plan. And then the last step, and the most important, is just jump. You're going to feel fear. It's going to be scary no matter how much planning or how many dollars you set aside. It's always going to be somewhat fearful and scary, but don't let that hold you back from pursuing your dreams. So my advice is just go all in and don't look back. So that's my advice for today in terms of getting to the what of what you'd like to do. Let me know if this resonated with you. Give me some thumbs up. Also, let me know in the comments, whether you're watching this live or during the replay, what sort of topics you'd like to hear about in the future, because I'd really like to be here for you and give you some interesting tidbits and things that will help get you from corporate world to being your own boss. So please visit my website, corporateescapeartist.com. I have all this in the blog, the video, and all the links and resources that I mentioned. And I'm going to be here every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Central. So please watch me next week. and I'll be here. And so in the meantime, please consider those 2 challenges I gave you, and I will see you soon. Thanks for joining. Bye, everyone.